Hello everybody, it's another Tuesday and you know what that means. Now, as it's the last one of the year, the theme for this week is lasts, finales, the ends. The last execution in the Tower of London took place on Thursday the 14th of August 1941, when a German spy called Joseph Jacobs was shot by an 8-man firing squad. When Thomas Edison died in 1941, Henry Ford captured his dying breath in a bottle. As you do. The last Olympics in which the gold medals were made of actual gold was in 1912. The guillotine was last used publicly in France in 1939 and non-publicly in 1977. That's right, they were still using the guillotine up to 1977. Wow, the last American Civil War soldier to die was John Sawlings, a Confederate soldier who died in 1958 aged 112. This is quite a long one, so you'll have to bear with me. In 1789, Catherine Murphy became the last person to be burned in Britain as an execution. Except that she wasn't actually burned. It's a bit confusing, so hold on. She was convicted of making counterfeit coins along with a load of men, including her husband. But because they were all men, they were sentenced to hang, as you do. But as a woman, she was sentenced to be burnt at the stake. It all seems legitimate so far. But she was brought out past the hanging bodies of her co-defendants and made to stand on a small platform in front of the stake, where she was secured with ropes. And she was supposed to be burnt, but they actually hanged her. Oops! Similarly, the last person to be hung, drawn and quartered in Britain wasn't hung, drawn and quartered. Seems to be a bit of a theme going on here. Now everybody knows what hung, drawn and quartered is. It's kind of in the name as a method of execution. And Edward Despard, despite having Horatio Nelson as a witness in the defence, was found guilty of high treason and then sentenced to being hung, drawn and quartered. But the authorities were worried that the public might protest if it happened, so they didn't give him the full treatment. They only hung and beheaded him in front of a crowd of 20,000 people. 20,000! The last Dodo died in 1681. The last concert for the Beatles was in Candlestick Park in San Francisco on the 29th of August 1966, and the last song they played there was Long Tall Sally. Similarly, the last recorded song together was I Me Mine in 1970. The last song that Elvis performed publicly was Bridge Over Troubled Water at his last concert in Indianapolis in June 1977. George Washington died in the last hour of the last day of the last week of the last month of the last year of the 18th century. Wow. In 1999, Bhutan became the last country in the world to introduce television. Pitcairn Island is the last British territory in the Pacific Ocean. And the final fact of 2014, Zimbabwe here comes last in the World Happiness Rankings. So that was the last one of the year. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. Sorry it was a bit short. Yeah, have a very happy new year, and I will see you again next Tuesday.